Hey everybody, JB back with you once again, and welcome to Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Justice for All. We are on Case 4, Farewell My Turnabout, and we have made it to the first day of the trial of Matt On Guard, who is under suspicion for murdering his rival actor Juan Corrida, the Jammin' Ninja. So far, the only thing that we've discovered is that Matt's manager, Adrian Andrews, had an affair of sorts with Juan in an attempt to get information out of him about her own mentor's death. And apparently Juan was involved with something about that. So we'll see what exactly happens here. But for now, I'm guessing that Adrian is probably not the guilty party if the past is any gauge. Seems like on the first day of these things, we usually have a red herring suspect to buy time. The other thing is that we have to keep in mind that the killer, assassin person, the killer, whatever his name is giving us a single day to win victory for Matt. And hopefully that will become immaterial if Maya is escaping, because we saw at the very end of the last episode that she was able to crack the door open a little bit. So we'll see where that leads. But for now, let's go ahead and get started. Adrian did it? That's what it looks like. Dude, no way. That woman can do anything like that. In court today, there will be a mountain of evidence that will implicate you. A mountain of evidence? I'm certain there's someone out there trying very hard to pin this whole thing on you. Please, Mr. Lawyer. Dude, like I said yesterday, I'm refreshing like a spring breeze, alright? I can't let any sort of scandal ruin that. I understand. Well, it's almost time. Mia, we must get a complete acquittal today. I know, but I can't focus on Maya's situation right now. Or Pearl's either. No matter what, I have to focus on winning this case by the end of the day. Indeed. Well, let's get going. Uh-oh. It's him! This is right. Good morning. This is it, Mr. Attorney. The day of the trial. Maya, she's unharmed, right? Well... when I checked on her earlier this morning, she seemed a bit, how shall we say, tired. Okay, so she's still there. Don't worry, people don't die that easily. Besides, what you really should be concentrating on is winning today's trial. Grrr. For my sake, as well as yours, you must win today's trial. Which is why I sent you a little present this morning. Present? What in the world would you want to give me? You'll figure it out once the trial starts. And even if you don't like my gift, I expect you to graciously accept it and win the day's contest, if you please. Wait! The kidnapper sent me a present? Mr. Lawyer Dude? Who was that? No one. It has nothing to do with you, so forget you heard anything. Dude, did your nose just get longer? It might have. Alright, well, let's see what present the kidnapper gave.
Court is now in session for the trial of Matt On Guard. Are the prosecution and defense ready?
The defense is ready, Your Honor.
I say, Mr. Wright, what happened to Miss Von Karma?
I don't know, Your Honor. Why are you getting mad at me?
Your Honor. Please be quiet, bailiff. Court is in session. If you must tell me something, please keep it brief. Now then, what is it? Prosecutor Von Karma has... This morning, Miss Von Karma was shot by an unknown gunman.
Oh.
What?
Shot? Somehow, I think this is the present that man was talking about. Ooh. His present? Miss Von Karma is one of the top prosecutors in the country at the moment. If she were to disappear, it would be up to your advantage. This is totally insane. Miss Von Karma, is she alright?
I don't have that answer.
She's alive and in stable condition.
That's good. Phew.
I thought he'd show up. Edgeworth is here. Your Honor, due to the circumstances, Miss Franziska von Karma cannot appear in courts today. I, Miles Edgeworth, will be taking her place. The prosecution is ready. Naturally. Miss Von Karma was shot in her right shoulder and is currently undergoing surgery. Luckily, I've looked this case over and am familiar with the details. The prosecution seeks to prove the guilt of Mr. Matt on guard.
The court acknowledges the prosecution.
Right. I finally found the answer I was struggling for in my long journey this past year. By the time this case comes to an end, you too will know the answer. What do you mean by that? Now then, the prosecution would like to call its first witness. Please bring Detective Gumshoe to the witness stand. It feels good to be going up against Edgeworth again. Witness, your name and occupation.
My name's Dick Gumshoe, sir. I'm a detective down at the precinct. For now. For now? After this trial's over, I'm supposed to turn in my badge, sir.
Detective Gumshoe? The prosecution has no need for a depressed witness. Lift your head up and face forward like a proud officer, Detective Dick Gumshoe.
Yes, sir.
Now, let's have your testimony. If we want to explore the various facets of this case, we must start with that. Get ready, Phoenix. This is going to be one very rough fight. Yeah, it would have to be with Edgeworth as my opponent. The answer he was struggling for. Interesting. Well, we wouldn't have it any other way. I'm glad we're going up against Edgeworth. Show me this answer you finally found, Edgeworth. Okay. Bare facts of the case.
This murder happened after the Hero of Heroes award ceremony, sir. The victim, Juan Corrida, was found dead in his hotel room. After looking into the cause of death, we believe he was definitely murdered, sir. At first, we thought there was something suspicious about the empty guitar case. However, we later found that the guitar case had nothing to do with the murder.
Really now?
After the award ceremony ended, the victim was alone in his room?
Yes, sir.
Both the victim and defendant went alone to their room, sir. I see. Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination.
Alright. Let's see if we can figure this out. I'm going to look at the guitar case real quick, because I find it hard to believe that it has nothing to do with the case. Especially since there's no guitar in it. I'm going to present that. I'm just going to make sure there's nothing else here. Okay, yeah, it's empty in that photo, so nothing bizarre about that in terms of everything else. No, that wasn't it. Alright, well, it was worth a shot. Our first order of business should be to gather more info from his testimony. There might be a trap set up for us somewhere. Maybe. However, setting off traps is a part of a lawyer's job too. If you say so. Okay, so we need to press. Of course, we're supposed to escape from them too, wouldn't you say? Alright. Would you please give us a brief timeline of what happened after the ceremony?
Okay, pal. The ceremony started at 6 p.m. It ended around 8 p.m., and then there was a short break. A special post-ceremony show was supposed to start in the lobby 30 minutes later.
And that's when the victim's body was found, correct? Which is to say, the murder occurred during that 30-minute break period.
Please continue with your testimony, Detective.
The person who discovered the victim's body was Adrian Andrews, correct?
Yeah. Who is this Adrian Andrews you're talking about?
She's a defendant, Matt Unguard's manager. She's a really pretty lady, sir.
Ah, so she's a pretty lady. I wonder if she will grace us with her presence.
Judge, no.
When the post-ceremony show was about to start, she went to get Mr. On Guard. After visiting his room, she next went to the victim's room to get him for the show, sir. I see, and that's when she found the victim's body.
The cause of death, wasn't that because Mr. Corrida was stabbed in the chest?
Only a careless amateur would believe something so brainless as that, pal.
Take a good hard look at the crime photo. Now a real pro's attention will be drawn here to this bandana.
Banana!
His bandana, sir. That's the thing wrapped tightly around his neck, sir.
Ah, yes, I see. His banana-scented bandana!
Then what about the knife? It seems to have been stuck in the victim's chest on purpose after his death.
We have a crafty murderer on our hands here.
Okay, so we definitely have some new information from that. Juan's autopsy reports added to the court record. Time of death, 8:15 p.m. Cause, strangled with a scarf, then stabbed with a knife. That's interesting. And why did you think that?
Because it was empty, pal. The Jammin' Ninja doesn't go anywhere without his bright red guitar. And we couldn't find it anywhere at the scene of the crime. Oh, then how about this theory? A fan really wanted the guitar and did the crime to get it. How's that?
We thought of that too, but the only fingerprints on the guitar case were the victims. Only the victims, huh?
I see. So much for my theory, then.
Guitar case updated in the court record. Empty. There is some water, but only on top of the lid. Bears Corrida's fingerprints. I'm really curious about this. What convinced you it had nothing to do with the case? The guitar wasn't at the Gatewater Hotel that night.
Well then, where was it?
The bright red guitar was eventually found at the TV studio. The victim, Juan Corrida, had apparently only taken the case with him, sir.
So you mean he forgot to put the guitar inside the case?
Yes, sir. Even when he was on stage for the ceremony, he didn't have his guitar. So the guitar case was empty even before he got to the hotel.
Yeah, that's right. So it really had nothing to do with the case after all.
I don't know. I feel like that's a little hard to believe if he was going to go to the show as the Jammin' Ninja. I believe that is enough. First, the victim was choked to death with his bandana. Then, after the victim was dead, the killer deliberately stabbed him with a knife. Which brings me to my next point. Why then did the police arrest Matt on guard? Because there was reason enough to suspect him. Here it comes. Looks like Edgeworth's back in full swing.
Very well. Detective Gumshoe, please testify about this matter.
Yes, sir. Alright, time for the next piece of testimony. Why arrest On Guard?
Matt On Guard and Juan Corrida were huge rivals with each other. They each thought the other guy was in his way. That's motive enough in my book. As for evidence, there's the Jammin' Ninja's button. It was ripped off of the ninja costume and found in Matt On Guard's hakama. The defendant's fingerprints were also all over the knife. The defendant bought the knife for the crime, which makes this a premeditated murder.
He bought the knife for the crime? That looks like a dinner knife.
So the defendant's fingerprints were found on the knife used in the stabbing.
It was sort of sticky on the handle, so the fingerprints came out pretty clearly, sir. Yeah, it looks like a knife you would eat with. So... Wait, was this the detail that we were thinking was off when we were looking at the plates in On Guard's room? I'm wondering if maybe there was a knife missing from there. Knife, added to the court record, bears the victim's blood and On Guard's fingerprints. In the grip, Gatewater is engraved. Well, there you go. That pretty much proves that he didn't buy it just for the murder. And there's this button.
That was found in the defendant's clothes, was it? And is this button also covered in blood?
Yes, and we know that the blood on it is the victim's blood, sir. What? Jammin' Ninja's button added to the court record, was ripped from his costume, is covered in Corita's blood, found in On Guard's Hakama.
All of this points very clearly to the defendant, doesn't it?
Yes, it most certainly does, Your Honor. Ready to give in yet, right? I'll find the hole in your argument somehow. You can press as hard as you'd like. Just hurry up with your usual pointless questions.
Grrr.
Alright, I think I know what I'm going to present here. Let's, get to the end. Yes! Wait a second.
What?
So the basis of your argument was that this was a premeditated murder is simply that my client bought a knife beforehand?
That's right, pal.
The defendant did not buy this knife. Ooh, we get the objection music.
Huh?
Take a good look at the handle of this knife and you'll see what I'm talking about.
Huh? It has a Gatewater seal set into the handle. Gatewater? I think I've heard that name somewhere before.
Yeah, it's the place where the murder happened. That's the name of the hotel. The Gatewater Hotel. Uh-oh. The murder knife was actually property of the hotel, which means this murder was not premeditated.
Yes, that is very true. This is a very big... What is it, Mr. Edgeworth?
I'm sorry, but the defense is simply too careless. What? I think whether the crime was premeditated or not has already been determined. How so? I admit this knife is hotel property. There is no one currently on the police force that is dumb enough not to realize this. You may want to check that assumption.
But I didn't know...
Oh, yeah. The question is, where did this knife come from?
Why, that's obvious. It came from the victim, Mr. Corita's room.
I don't know. I think it actually came from On Guard's room. Sorry, Your Honor, but that is incorrect. The victim ate a last meal before he was murdered. With that being the case, I would like to draw the court's attention to what is on top of the table.
There is a knife and a fork on the table. Then, where in the world did this knife come from?
If it pleases the court, I would like for us to recall the room of the defendant, Mr. Matt On Guard. Yep, I knew it. I guess that was a knife that we were seeing on the other plate that was missing from the one plate. It was so small that I couldn't tell what it was. Oh, no, I was looking at the food. Never mind. Especially what was on top of his table. Yeah, I was looking at that stuff there. There's something missing. Perhaps it is a single knife? We investigated the leftover dishes for fingerprints, and while we were investigating, we came to the conclusion that Mr. Matt On Guard's knife was missing. Irk. Mr. On Guard has gone to the victim's room with the knife he had used during dinner. Why would he carry a knife on a visit? To kill, of course. And with that, I believe the prosecution has proven this was a premeditated murder. That does look pretty bad.
Amazing, Mr. Edgeworth! Absolutely brilliant! A brilliantly clear deduction!
It seems like Edgeworth had this plan from the very beginning. This must be one of those traps, and I just walked headlong into it. Yeah.
A murder weapon with fingerprints and a button from the victim's costume? There is quite a sizable amount of evidence here.
I can safely say that any further deliberation is a waste of your Honor's time. Although, I wouldn't mind if the defense were to present evidence not yet shown to the court. Evidence not yet shown? He means evidence that the court hasn't seen yet. In other words, new evidence.
What does the defense have to say about this, Mr. Wright?
Well, Phoenix, The judge is favoring the prosecution right now. If we answer with something wrong here, that gavel of his will be ringing out to the sound of our defeat.
Mr. Wright, do you have something important and necessary to present to this court?
Can we save here? Oh, we can. Okay, good. Just to be on the safe side. There's one piece of evidence that catches my attention. Something that this court has yet to see.
Mr. Wright! I will say this one more time. I do not feel this trial needs to continue at all. However, I am giving you one chance, and only one.
What the judge is saying, right, is don't try pulling one of your usual bluffs here. If I mess this up, it's curtains for all of us. Oh wow, all of our health.
You may now present one and only one piece of evidence.
Okay, I'm pretty convinced that that was the right option. But I'm just going to save in a different slot to be safe.
Now then, what is this important evidence that you must show to the court?
Okay, I have a feeling it has something to do with Adrian Andrews. Oh man, what would it be though? I'm gonna guess it's this. Uh-oh. Sorry, Wright, but this time your bluffing steered you wrong. That's not good. No! No! Man, okay. That's not cool. Alright, well, to avoid having to go through that again, I'm going to look up the answer. Let's go back here. Oh. It's the wine glass. That's interesting. Why would it be the wine glass? Is it just because there was that one piece of evidence that we were thinking was out of place, like it was just put there?
This is a wine glass, is it not?
Please look at the photo of the crime scene one more time. The scene is a mess because of the victim's struggle against his assailant. The vase was broken, his makeup is all over the floor. These were all things that were at one point sitting on top of the dresser.
Well, yes, I see your point.
However, this glass that is sitting on top of the dresser is mysteriously untouched. The only thing that had not fallen over along with everything else is this wine glass. This piece of evidence is more than strange enough to warrant further consideration. Okay, so it is because of that. Well, what do you all have to say?
Well, yes, it is a little peculiar.
Yes, isn't it? I thought it was.
You can stop looking at me with those puppy dog eyes of yours now. Mr. Edgeworth?
What is it, Your Honor?
Your opinion?
You don't need my opinion, because there is no special meaning to that glass. What? It's safe to say that the glass was set there after the crime took place. By the person who discovered the body, Adrian Andrews, for example. She could have easily been so shocked that she set the glass down without thinking.
That does sound very plausible, Mr. Wright.
Could Miss Andrews really have set that glass down without thinking? I mean, maybe. It's possible that is what happened. There's nothing that points to Miss Andrews not being the one who set the cup down. And if I raise an objection here, that would only make the judge slam his gavel down. You can't think like that, Phoenix. Mia, right now, you're hanging on by a very thin thread. Anything else you can grab onto right now is better than nothing. So in other words, push as far as we can go. The defense would like to challenge the prosecution's theory. We would like to see something that proves it was Miss Andrews who set the cup on the table.
You've turned the situation on its head yet again, as usual. Mr. Edgeworth, do you have any proof to back up your claim?
There's no way he has any. He's just bluffing. Unlike Mr. Wright, I never say anything unless I have the evidence to support it. Uh-oh. What? You're not thinking hard enough today, right? Did you think this wine glass escaped my notice? Then, of course it has been thoroughly inspected for fingerprints. Fingerprints? There were only one set of fingerprints left on this wine glass.
Only one? Well, whose were they?
They were not the victims nor the defendants. Rather, they were one of Adrian Andrews. What? Wine glass updated in the court record. Found next to the victim. It's filled with tomato juice. Bears Andrews' fingerprints. That is why I said that the person who had discovered the body had left it there. Are we done here, Mr. Wright? Grr, I can't believe I fell into another trap. Miss Andrews was probably holding the glass when she went to see Mr. Cordita. But upon seeing his dead body, she was stunned and set the glass down in the dresser.
What you just said makes a lot of sense.
Now, do you see, right? You can't change any part of my scenario as it explains everything all too well. Grr. I've thought long and hard this past year about what it means to be a prosecutor. And from here on out, I will show you the answer I have come to discover.
Wait a second, Mr. Edgeworth. I think the prosecution has provided enough evidence for me to enter my verdict.
Unfortunately, I cannot allow you to pass judgment yet. The prosecution has yet another witness we would like the court to hear from. Another witness? Yes. Bailiff, please bring in the next witness. What in the world is Mr. Edgeworth thinking? It almost feels like the moment in the movie where the villain gets a little too smug. Now then, witness, please state your name and occupation. I like how she's wearing her spacesuit to court. Witness, your name and occupation, please. Rat-a-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat. Heh. Gotcha. Grrr. I wonder what happened to that calm composure he had earlier. Oh, Edgy boy! It's been, what, a year since we last met, hasn't it? You should be more happy to see me. I saw the report with her testimony, but who knew that under that helmet it was the Wicked Witch of the witness stand. I tell you, this time I know what I'm supposed to do. So today I'm going to tell you anything and everything. I mean, things that don't have to do with that terrible crime.
Miss Witness, that terrible crime is all this court needs to know.
Oof! Shush! I'm talking to my dear Edgy Wedgie right now. Edgy Wedgie? Don't interrupt us, Gramps.
Yes, madam.
No. Please, by all means, interrupt her. Please. Anyway, witness, your testimony, please. It's true what they say, that youth are hot-headed nowadays. Not that I mind at all, Edgy. Now then, what should I start with? The witness was on security detail at the hotel on the night of the murder. Is this correct, Miss Oldbag? It was a great job being able to see my dearie Juan. It was almost too much for my little heart to handle.
You mean you are a fan of the victim?
Look, everyone is crazy over that on guard, saying he's cute in a fresh way or something. But on me, I wouldn't say anything so silly. After all, I have no interest in a little child like him. I'm only interested in a real man, Juan Corrida. But those two were the same age. Anyway, as I was saying, I was pacing in front of his room that night. Very well. Please tell the court what you witnessed the night of the murder. Leave it to me, Edgy Poo. Please don't ever say Edgy Poo ever again. What you witnessed. Anyway, after the ceremony, I went to pace around in the hallway in front of his room. There was something I was interested in finding out, you know. Well, since I was on the job, I made sure to keep a good eye out the whole time. That's when someone showed up. It was a man coming out of poor Juan's room. It was on guard. Matt on guard. He was trying to sneak his way out of Juan's room. Okay, I don't see anything terribly contradictory there.
So Mr. On Guard came out from the victim's room.
See, it has to be him. He's the murderer.
I see. Well, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination.
Okay. This old bag. What was your post on that night?
The lobby. I was supposed to help set up the stage for that trifling show. But I refused to help, I'll have you know. It was for that lead-headed samurai's show. I even took out a few of the nails.
Maybe it was a good thing the show didn't go on.
Besides, the manager with the glasses seemed to be working hard at it without me. So I thought I'd take a break and spread my wings a little.
And that's when you went to hang around the victim's door? Something you were interested in. And just what was that?
It's not some little thing I can just go around telling everyone, you know. It's top secret between me and Juan. And Edgy Poo, of course. Mr. Edgeworth, what is this thing she was interested in?
I have no idea. I despise gossip, Your Honor. Gossip? Probably has to do with Adrian. But should it prove relevant, we can always have it appended to her testimony later. It looks like we shouldn't force it right now.
And did the witness stay in the vicinity of the victim's door the entire time?
Okay. Oh, then what would you tell us the number of people who went in and out of Mr. Corrida's room?
I have no idea. I wasn't born so I could count things for those who didn't pay attention in class.
Well, you were the only one who was standing there. Well, I guess Lana was standing there.
That's why ever since I turned 20, I quit keeping track of how old I really am. Yes, well that would explain why her age was not included in the report.
In any case, the witness then saw someone, correct? Apparently. Who in the world was that?
I'm not allowed to say. This sort of information has to be carefully guarded from the masses, Sonny. The man that came out of Juan's room, he was... Yes, he was! Ah, I'm too scared. I can't say his name out loud.
Oh, what I wouldn't give to have Francisco's whip right about now.
Well, I guess I can tell you since he was such a bad boy anyway.
You saw my client. Are you sure about that?
Yesy.
Really?
Annoying brat. When I say I saw someone, I saw that person.
Why do I get a sense of deja vu? Maybe to avoid a repeat of last year, I should delve into this a bit further. I'm gonna go into... Let's try the person's clothes. Please tell the court about the man's clothes in more detail.
What a troublesome man you are. Really, as if something like that matters.
But it does.
Now what was it? Oh yes, it was that thing.
What thing?
That gaudy thing he's always wearing, that racing jacket.
Oh, he was wearing that at the detention center, too.
That thing's meant for nothing but seducing women out of their pantaloons. Men!
Right. Says the person who's infatuated with Juan.
So, Mr. Wright, was this testimony just now important or relevant in any way?
I'm going to say no. I guess it really wasn't that important after all.
Mr. Wright, do you know why we say time is valuable? If not, I suggest you learn. You wasted 3 minutes of this woman's youth. That's more valuable than gold to me.
Why do I suddenly feel old in the presence of her childish whining? She may not remember things or be mistaken here or there, but I don't think she's lying. That's bad for us. Really bad. But that's how the human mind is. It also has a tendency to jump off topic. She's strayed onto a few interesting side topics this time too, hasn't she? But that's what makes her a sweet old lady, right? That's because you're not the one who has to question her. Yeah, sweet old lady is not what I would use to describe her. Alright, I'm going to try one of the other details. Okay. I'm going to go with what the person was carrying. That seems oddly specific. What was the man you saw carrying?
In which hand? His right or his left? Now this is a real mess. I mean, I can't be expected to answer such a vague question. Indeed, please be more specific with your question, Mr. Wright.
Sorry. What was the man you saw carrying in his right hand?
Ah, he wasn't carrying anything in that hand.
Then how about his left? Empty. Well, this whole thing has been a lot of nothing. Yeah, you were the one who was whining about us wasting our time a minute ago.
So, Mr. Wright, was this testimony just now important or relevant in any way?
I feel like it is. Like, wasn't there supposed to be something that was carried out, or... Hang on. I mean, I guess the button... You know what, I'm gonna look this one up. Let's see. Oh. It's supposed to be the, I was right the first time. It was the clothes. Okay. So I guess the clothes were very important because the, of the button. I did not realize that. Oh! I just realized. Because... it would have been obvious had it been caught on that thing, right? Like, I don't think that's the... Oh, I didn't read Edgeworth's thing. Don't you see it, Edgeworth? Your Honor, I request what the witness said about the jacket be appended to her testimony.
I don't quite see where you're going with this, but alright. Witness, please.
Oh, well, I don't like to badmouth anyone without reason, but if I must... He was wearing his flashy racing jacket. Honestly, it's all just for show. Okay, so... I think the contradiction here is that it's supposed to be that this button was found in his costume, which is different from the racing jacket. There you go. This old bag. What? Don't say my name for no reason. Do you know what this is? Ah, it's button number 2 on the Jammin' Ninja's costume. Now I know she's an obsessed fan. She identified it in a single glance. And by number, too. Give it here! Give it here! If you don't give it to me, I'll punish you with this! Yeah, I'm sure that's gonna do some damage. Wow, she really is a die-hard fan to want a button covered in blood. This button was discovered on Mr. On Guard's body during a full body search. See? This button proves beyond a shadow of a doubt it was that rascal On Guard. It was caught up in the pleats of his nickel samurai hakama pants. See? And On Guard is the nickel samurai. Witness. Now, it may just be me, and I do have an active imagination, but just now, didn't you say that the defendant, Matt On Guard, was wearing his usual racing jacket? Ah, I'm so sorry. Sorry that you judge people based on what they wear! If I wore the trendiest dress, then maybe you think I was the most gorgeous woman ever, but I put wearing this ridiculous-looking outfit. You have to agree this outfit is serious, right? I got a state recorder stuck in my chest. I tell you, it's heavy, so heavy, I wish we had switched to CDs ages ago by keeping this dream alive for all those kids out there. I work hard with a smile on my face, so do you understand? Now take a good look in the mirror. Your clothes are about as interesting as a documentary on curling. You should take a 10 for Edgy Poo. Now he's got style. Rat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat. I think I actually managed to get everything there.
Now hold your tongue still, just there for 1 second. So what you saw in actuality was not Mr. On Guard, the man, but Mr. On Guard, the nickel samurai?
But when you think about it, they're really one and the same anyway. This old bag. This is a very important point we're talking about. Edgy Poo, do you think so too? Well, it might be something worth considering. Just say it's important and agree with me for a change.
Witness, think carefully and try to remember as much as you can before you testify.
Alright, if you insist. I should be the one sighing, not you. Alright, another round of testimony. Who I saw.
On guard, on guard. Yes, now I remember. The Nickel Samurai, that's right. It was the Nickel Samurai that I saw. Yes, it would have been convenient for him to wear his costume during the murder. He had to go to that post-ceremony stage show right after the crime, you know? So he must have worn that Nickel Samurai costume when he was stabbing poor Juan.
This wouldn't be the first time that somebody's worn a costume related to this crime. I knew it. Or related to the crime in question. I knew you'd say he was inside that costume.
What? Did you think there could have been someone else inside that costume?
Well, maybe.
Don't be a bad little boy thinking such rude things.
But the possibility does exist.
Ah, youngins today. I told you there was no way it was anyone else. How do you know that? Because I said so, and what I say is the truth.
Yeah, that's very solid in court. At least she's just as delightful a witness as she was a year ago.
Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness.
Alright. Let me just review this here. Let me look over all the stuff here. Okay. Are you trying to imply that... Well, this wouldn't really help us, would it? Like, are you trying to imply that On Guard couldn't have been inside the costume as if his fingerprints were on the knife that was apparently used in the murder? I mean, I guess it could if you're trying to insinuate that it wasn't him and that the knife was used by someone else who wore a costume covering their fingerprints, so... Let's present that knife. Yes! Perfect. Gotcha. Please take a look at this.
Yeah, so it's a knife. Big deal. If you're trying to scare me with that, I'll have you know it won't work.
No, that's not my intention at all.
That's the knife that was used in the murder, correct?
Your Honor, do you know why this piece of evidence is important in this case?
You don't even have to ask. It's because the defendant's fingerprints are on it.
Is that what you're driving at? That is exactly what I'm driving at.
What are we driving at? And whose car are we driving?
If Mr. On Guard was really in the Nickel Samurai costume at the time of the murder, then it's impossible for his fingerprints to have been left on this knife. Actually, he would have wiped all previous fingerprints on this knife right off.
Oh, that's right. The Nickel Samurai wears gloves, doesn't he?
He probably took his gloves off before he began the stabbing. And why would he do something like that? To leave his prints on the murder weapon? There's no way he would do something like that. However, there is one possibility. Then let's hear your possibility. It's very simple. The defendant went to the victim's room while in costume as the Nickel Samurai. At that time, the defendant had held no intent to murder. He was probably just going to relax and talk with the victim about the stage show. Which is why he took his gloves off.
But the murder still did take place.
It's well known that there was bad blood between the defendant and the victim.
Yes, I have heard that before. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you have to say about Mr. Edgeworth's theory?
So let me get this straight. Edgeworth's theory goes like this. When the defendant went to the victim's room, he had no intention of killing him. Now, up to this point, are there any problems with this theory? Let me look at the court record. I mean, the knife you could say that the knife is problematic here because if the knife was taken out of On Guard's room, then he brought it to Corita's room, or somebody brought it to Corita's room for a reason. I'm going to say there is a contradiction. This theory contradicts something in an earlier testimony. What are you babbling about? Now, for argument's sake, let's suppose Mr. On Guard was the killer. If that's the case, I think it's impossible for the killer to have gone to the victim's room without intent. This knife, this was used by Mr. On Guard at dinner.
Yes, we did establish that.
Which means that if my client was in fact the killer, then he brought this knife with him when he went to visit Mr. Kurita. I suppose. However, you just said it yourself. At that time, the defendant held no intent to murder. If that were true, then why would he bring a knife? He wouldn't, would he? Something's not adding up here. Which means, Mr. Edgeworth, your theory was flawed from supposition 1. And one more thing. If the murderer was wearing the costume at the time of the murder, then there should be glove marks left on the knife. Which means the defendant's fingerprints shouldn't be all over it like bees on a hive. And that brings me to my final point. Oh, you know what? I just thought of something. What if the knife was carefully brought back after the strangling happened with all the fingerprints all over it because the killer knew that On Guard had used it at dinner time and then it was stuck in Kurita? Like, that would make sense. This knife was planted by the real killer to hide their identity and mislead us. There we go. That's what I was getting at.
Order! Order, I say! Order in the court! Was this knife really planted by the killer? Why would the murderer do such a thing?
Well, if it was this, then they would have done a very poor job, because we could see the bandana, like was mentioned earlier. So I'm going to say this. It's to frame my client, Mr. On Guard, of course.
To frame?
Aren't you forcing the interpretation just a little too hard on this one? We just established that the witness saw the nickel samurai in costume. And if that were true, then there shouldn't be a single fingerprint on this knife.
Grr. Witness!
Looks like I've made your life a tiny bit more difficult, huh, Edgy Poo?
Grr. Witness, did you or did you not really see the nickel samurai?
Well, I guess at first I might have forgotten, but... oh no. Come on. Are you saying you mixed up Mr. On Guard with the Nickel Samurai, his character on TV? But I mean, I can't really do anything about that now. Look, I was waiting around in front of their doors because, well, I wasn't waiting around for the Nickel Samurai, that's for sure. She wasn't waiting for the Nickel Samurai? Alright then. Who were you waiting around for then? I would assume Juan.
That's top secret to anyone outside of security. I have a feeling that you are waiting for Mr. Juan Kurita. Am I correct, witness?
Thank you, Judge. For once, the judge actually has a good idea.
Ha ha ha. The way you think you are a sad amateur with a terrible case of nearsightedness. Amateur? Me? What am I an amateur of?
So Old Bag was waiting around in front of the victim's room. But it doesn't sound like she was waiting to catch a glimpse of Mr. Kurita. Maybe. Phoenix, maybe the Old Bag was waiting around for that person. If it's who I think Mia's hinting at, it's certainly possible. Miss Old Bag, you were waiting for this person to come out of the victim's room, weren't you? I'm gonna guess Adrian.
Who is this person?
This is Adrian Andrews, Mr. On Guard's manager.
But why would the defendant's manager be in the victim's room?
It seems that this is the latest rumor in circulation, Your Honor.
Oh, this is... I see.
The judge seems to be really into the article, if it can be called such a thing.
Then this manager with the initials AA, are you saying it's...
Adrian Andrews, without a doubt. The witness thought so as well.
Looks like you found me out.
Well, that's fine. I can throw away this whole sworn to confidentiality stuff then. I don't think you swore anybody yourself to Sorry. I don't think you swore confidentiality to anybody but yourself.
Witness, what in the world are you?
Watch out, Phoenix. I've got a bad feeling about this. A very bad feeling. I got some information. Some very secret information from a certain source. So that's why I was doing my own little investigation. In secret, of course. Hey, that rhymed.
But what for?
Oh, just for myself. Personal reasons and all that. Of course.
Well, Mr. Edgeworth, how will you proceed from here?
I really don't want to do this. However, I cannot simply let this point slide.
I see. Very well, then. Witness, please testify about this secret information.
Get ready. This is going to take the wind out of you, young'uns. I'm sure we're all capable of handling this. Really, it's not like we're 10 years old. Secret information. That on guard is one evil, evil man. He thought he could ruin poor Juan by causing a huge scandal. So to do that, he sent his own manager to get in close with Juan. I cannot condone such dirty tricks, so I took action. Oh, and this is top secret, you got that? Nobody else but you and me know yet, okay? Well, there's like a bunch of people in the courtroom too, so that could be a problem.
The defendant sent his manager? What a distasteful topic for this court.
What? Nobody's above gossip. And isn't there a saying, the truth is never pleasant? Never heard that one before.
Mr. Edgeworth, what about this Adrian Andrews person?
We have looked into this matter, and found that the truth the article proposes is, in fact, baseless gossip.
But should this be true, then this proves that the defendant did bear ill will toward the victim.
So this means I have to smash this rumor once and for all.
Now then, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness.
Be careful. The old bag seems rather excited right now.
That's right. Nothing on guard is nothing but your average foul-blooded youth.
Well, as the old saying goes, you've got to burn old bags with fire. Time to fire up the afterburners and hit the highway to the danger zone. Highway to the danger zone. Alright. I don't know if we were supposed to present the thing here. I'm going to try this. No, okay. Is there anything else in the court record that's, Okay, I'm gonna press stuff here. You can't say something like that without proof. That's just slander. But it's true. That woman was getting intimate with poor Juan. Look, it says so right here, doesn't it? Manager to the stars, Miss AA. But the name of the magazine this came from is Gossip Land. What? Are you saying that gossip is all just a pack of lies? Well, it can be. What do you know? I suppose next you'll swear to me that the news is 100% truth. Honestly, Sonny, you can't discriminate between the news and gossip. She kind of has a point there.
Yes, discrimination is bad, Mr. Wright.
Discriminate? When did I do anything like that? Anyway, On Guard will never get to me to say touche. A scandal? What do you mean by that? You're a dim-witted one, aren't you? I can't believe you don't know what a scandal is. Honestly, what are they teaching kids in middle school these days? Oh, no, I wasn't asking what the word scandal means. Even I know that much. Well, that On Guard thought he could own a monopoly on popularity. You don't have any proof that Mr. On Guard did any such thing. You must be suffering from shock, the shock of hearing the truth. And now, since you're in so much shock, you can't do anything right. You're right, I can't do anything. But boy, do I wish I could do something about you. Alright then, Sonny, show me what you got. Can you show me proof that On Guard didn't bear any ill will towards Juan? I mean, I don't know if we really have proof of that. I'm going to check to see if we need to do anything here. Okay, no. I don't have anything to offer. See? Just as I thought. And you were lecturing me about saying things without proof. You've just given me a free pass to say whatever I want, whenever I want, silly boy. I don't think that's how that works. Me and my big mouth. That's the way the cookie crumbles. For you, anyway. Okay, I know what the statement of press here is now. Wait. What? I'm a busy woman. Tea time with the kids is over. Secret information that no one else knows yet. If that's true, then how do you know this secret information? Huh. Well, that's because I'm a pro. Yes, that's it. It's a secret. Even if you drilled a hole in my brain, you'll never find out. How in the world did that old bat get such a secret piece of information? Let's press further. If you don't be a good girl and tell me where you got this secret information, you won't get to go home today. Edgy Poo, what are you doing? Help me! What do I have to do with this? Just do this for me. You'll get your reward. I don't want your reward, but you don't leave me much of a choice. The witness could have gotten her information from anywhere. It's even possible that it was spontaneously made up inside the witness's head. And he lectures me on reckless blabbering. As long as we don't know where this information came from, it's quite a waste of time to focus on this line of questioning. Where did old Bat get her inside information? There has to be something I can use to figure it out. Okay, that's a little weird. Sounds like just another tidbit of gossip, doesn't it? But you can't just ignore it either. It makes your client look bad either way. Well, I don't think I heard anything really out of the ordinary just now. There has to be something we can catch her on. Yeah, and when I find it, I'm going to press the heck out of it. Okay, I think I know what I'm supposed to do here. We're supposed to present evidence here. She slipped up a little bit here. So no one else is supposed to know this secret information, correct? If that's true, then why do you know it, Miss Oldbag? Well, why are you looking at me like that? Stop that! Witness. I hate to say it, but this is how you came to acquire secret info, isn't it? Lana's camera. The investigative photographer, Lana Hart.
Oh yes, I remember that mischievous girl.
She reported that she had lost a certain note she had written to herself.
She reported such a thing?
On that piece of paper, she had written down some of her outrageous impressions about the relationship between the victim and Miss Andrews.
What? Outrageous ideas, you say?
No, I said impressions. Then everything written on this piece of paper is completely meaningless? Ah, that's it. That's the note. No! You see, this is something completely different. This is my top secret list of groceries to buy. Sure it is.
Then you are the one who took Miss Hart's note. I'm a huge fan of wands, that's why. That infamous puffy-haired whippersnapper. She's working with that evil On Guard. She said so herself. On guard. I'm his sidekick. She was so happy, smiling like a silly duck. I was only checking what she had written. Edgy Boo, you believe me, don't you? I was only trying to help out like the angel I am. It's only one little piece of paper. I've never taken anything else before. You really should come with a supply of cheese to match your vintage wine. Well, it was only a piece of paper. I suppose we can overlook just this once.
She looks like she's really sorry. Is she, though? Should I forgive her? Let's pile on more pressure. If I let up on her now, she'll get away. I have to find some way to inflict a deafening blow to the prosecution. Witness. You said that the only thing you stole was that note. Is this correct? Stole? Why don't you listen more carefully, you annoying brat?
I saved this piece of paper from the terrible, lonely trash can, that's all. You're lying, damn it, and I can prove it. Are you putting my credibility under scrutiny again? This old bag. I don't believe that the note is the only thing you stole that night. I think you stole this with it. This old bag. That note was with a camera inside its case, wasn't it? A camera? Yesterday, Lana Hart was raising a huge stink over her camera. She kept saying something like, "My sweetie $1,600 camera disappeared on me." Why? Witness! What is it, Gramps? If you have the note, then it is only logical that you have the camera, too. Grr. Looks like you found me out again, Sonny. Is this a camera you're looking for? Ah, that's... What? Even though I look like this, I'm still a person, you know. I still eat meals like you, I fall in love, and borrow things from people. One of those things is not like the others. I think your definition of borrow is a little off. I saw that woman's business card, and that's when I noticed it said, Slime Bag Celebrity Photographer Extraordinaire. Well, when I saw that, I had to know what sort of pictures she had taken. I'm a professional security guard. It's my business to know these things. Bailiff! Check this camera's photos! Hurry! We must examine them at once! Well, Mr. Edgeworth, what do we have? There is only one photo that seems to be relevant to this case. Please present it to the court! Ooh. This is the Nickel Samurai! See, I told you, that's the guy I saw. This proves that the witness was not lying earlier about this matter. Lana's photo added to the court record. Picture taken in the hallway right after the murder. I feel like this is like the 5th Lana's photo that we've gotten in the court record. Across all these cases. What does this all mean, Mr. Edgeworth? This photo by itself does not prove that the person in it is the defendant. However, in his own confession, Mr. On Guard clearly stated that at the time of the murder, he was still in his Nickel Samurai costume. If that is the case, then this Nickel Samurai is... the defendant. So why would Matt On Guard say something like that? How did it come to this? I think this brings us to the end. We have examined every piece of evidence thoroughly. Final comments, Mr. Wright? The court will consider them before we close. Do you agree that this photo is decisive evidence against your client? If this photo really is decisive, then we're done for. If I raise an objection here and blow it, then I would put Maya's life in jeopardy. I can't make a mistake here. There's only one road out of this mess. This photo that Lana took, there's... well, there has to be something strange with it, right? I'm gonna just make sure. Yeah. There's something strange with this photo. I knew this was coming, right? Your thoughts, Mr. Edgeworth? I think we can all agree there's nothing strange with this photo. There's no way for the defense to debunk this photo, even with a bunker buster. Debunk with a bunker buster? Is that what you're planning to do, Mr. Wright? Anyway, please look at the photo one more time. If you really believe you can honestly find something wrong with this photo, then you should only need one chance, correct? Well, I had to find something wrong with this photo. I can't let this chance go by. Where in the heck did she take this photo from anyway? Looks like she was in the hallway. It's all out of focus. Why can't she take a good shot, especially when it counts? Now then, let's hear your objection. It doesn't look out of focus. It's just at a crooked angle. Alright, oh, I can't look at anything else. Oh, no. Okay, well, I'm going to have to look at the answer here, because I don't know. I mean... let's see. The room looks... yeah. That's Juan's room, right? Pretty sure that's Juan's room.
Okay. Apparently, we're supposed to point out the feet area because the poster of the Nickel Samurai shows that he has socks there. So I'm going to present that. I wish they would let you look at the other stuff here before you point that out. I would like to direct the court's attention to this one area right here.
What are you pointing to? His ankles?
If you could see this person's ankles, that would be one thing. However, you can't.
And? What does that mean?
The costumed person in this photo could not have been Mr. On Guard.
What is the meaning of this?
I wonder if you would care to elaborate, with actual facts, that is. Let's take a look at the Nickel Samurai's poster. Yeah, see, if I could have seen this earlier, that would have been nice. Please pay particular attention to the area around the bottom of the hakama.
His socks! You can see his socks!
Exactly. However, in this photo, the Nickel Samurai is clearly holding his hakama up just to walk. There is only one explanation for this. The person inside this costume is clearly much shorter than the defendant. Alright, I think I've turned things around for myself this time. That's curious. Huh? What is? Edgeworth is unusually calm today. That's true. He's just letting the trial run itself, as if he's only along for the ride. Along for the ride? What do you mean by that? I can only guess that perhaps he doesn't feel under attack at all. He doesn't feel under attack? Then I haven't damaged his case at all?
Mr. Edgeworth, where does this leave us? If the person in this photo is not man on guard, then everything the prosecution has tried to prove has become meaningless.
I figured it would come to this. What? Right, I have something I want to ask you. I think you have proven that the person inside this costume is not Matt on guard. In that case, who is this a photo of? Who is the person wearing the Nickel Samurai costume? Don't stress out over this, Phoenix. It's very simple. What you should be focused on is Edgeworth's attitude, don't you think? Yeah, why is he so calm?
Mr. Wright, let's hear your thoughts. Who is the person in this photograph?
Alright, I think there is an obvious answer here, and it is, Adrian, because we knew from our conversation yesterday with her that she, is short. She mentioned that when she talked about her, inferiority complex and anxiety and stuff.
Adrian Andrews?
If you want to know who that Nickel Samurai is, it is none other than this woman. And why would you say it must be Miss Andrews? What in the world points you to her? For starters, she's short, and she can freely move in and out of Mr. On Guard's room. Finally, she had dinner with Mr. On Guard that night.
And how does that all add up?
It means that it makes it very easy for her to get a certain item. A certain knife with Mr. On Guard's fingerprints all over it.
The knife that was used as a murder weapon.
Why don't you just say what it is you want, right? I have to do this now. This is my last chance to turn things around. The defense moves to indict Miss Adrian Andrews in the murder of Juan Corrida. It was Miss Andrews who tried to frame the defendant for the crime.
Order! 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 It looks like this trial has hit a most unexpected development. Mr. Edgeworth!
Yes, Your Honor.
This court is issuing a subpoena for Miss Adrian Andrews. A verdict cannot be passed without first hearing her testimony.
Alright, this is it. This is kind of bad for us. Huh? What do you mean? If Adrian Andrews is summoned to court as a witness, it means that the trial will go on for another day. One more day? Ah! If I don't get a verdict today, then Maya...
Now then, we shall set Miss Andrews' testimony for tomorrow.
What am I supposed to do? The judge is about to adjourn the court. Well, let's raise an objection.
No, that...
Please, Your Honor, continue the trial. You must pass a verdict today.
I can't do that. We cannot hear Miss Andrews' testimony if she is not...
I abhor wasting such valuable time. Edgeworth. Your Honor, I request that you please continue with today's trial.
But what? We cannot continue due to this unexpected development.
Tisk tisk. Unexpected development? I think you underestimate me, Your Honor.
What do you mean by that?
That Mr. Phoenix Wright would slave his way to subpoenaing Miss Adrian Andrews is all happening according to plan, even if Wright was a bit slow to catch on.
What?
So Edgeworth figured it out too, huh?
What is the meaning of your statement, Mr. Edgeworth?
Miss Adrian Andrews is currently waiting in the prosecution's lobby. She is the next witness. Edgeworth, coming through for us again. Everything was planned out in advance by that man? Somehow I knew that there was no way Edgeworth would overlook Miss Andrews. Looks like this battle is far from over. Whoop, I skipped that.
Very well. We will call the next witness. However, before we proceed, we shall take a 10-minute recess. Please prepare your witness in that time, Mr. Edgeworth. The court will now take a 10-minute recess.
Whew, man, that was a very long court segment. I don't think we've had one quite that long before. Maybe we did in Rise from the Ashes, but that is certainly one of the longest ones. Alright everybody, so next time we're going to call Adrian Andrews to the stand, and hopefully we will get some more light shed on what really happened that night with Juan Corrida. But until next time, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.